Spacey Sims, and we are back with more Code Realize Future Blessings in St. Germain's route, and we just got kiss blocked by some random kid running into us. Hello, you couldn't see two people standing in the middle of the street trying to make out? Anyway. Ow! Hastily separating myself from St. Germain, I discover a young boy holding his head prone on the cobblestones. Oh my goodness, are you alright? After making certain my gloves are on tight, I help the boy up. Yeah, sorry about that. No, it was our fault. We shouldn't have been standing in the middle of the street. You don't seem to be hurt. Thank goodness. But why were you in such a hurry? Careening about like that is dangerous, you know. That's right! I gotta catch him! Are you playing tag? Tag, a type of game that can be seen all around the world in which children chase one another. Tag. Lupin made me play it endlessly to learn proper techniques of escape, or so he said. But I'm slow, so I always get caught, and the other boys pick on me. Looking down the boulevard toward the plaza, I spot a gaggle of jeering children who seem to know the boy. I think for a moment and then speak. So what if you weren't the fastest? Don't give up. There are plenty of ways to go about this. When you're running away from an opponent, it's important to be aware of their blind spots. And if you're trying to catch them, don't just give chase blindly. Always think about turning the situation to your advantage. Oh, Lupin's teachings, I think. Well, do you follow? So sort of? He probably doesn't get it at all. I give the boy a reassuring smile and turn back to St. Germain. St. Germain, would it be alright if I take a little detour? Certainly, I don't mind. You seem to have taken on a charming discipline. It's not quite that grand, I'm afraid. Well then, I shall relax here as I wait. Thank you, I'll be back soon. I nod and urge the boy along. We walk together slowly. Well then, let's go. I'll teach you how to catch those bullies, alright? What, can you? I'm sure I can. My teacher is the world's #1 gentleman thief. Waving at Miss Spacey, I quietly take a seat on a bench. At the plaza ahead are a small group of children who look like the friends of the boy we just bumped into. I narrow my eyes as I watch Spacey, who immediately begins coaching him. It would certainly appear they're enjoying themselves. I thought as much on the ship as well, but I truly think that Miss Spacey has changed. The girl who had avoided all forms of human contact, now in such a spectacle. Even if toxins remain within her, surely she is already no different from a regular girl. There is most assuredly no one on Earth who would think of her as a doll or a monster. Now, if only the horologium could be controlled and the toxin rid of, then she'd have nothing between her and her happiness as a living, breathing person. To hold fresh flowers, to wear beautiful dresses freely, and of course, her first wish, to touch others, will be granted. This is splendid. Her world grows larger, and she can shift her attention to the outside. Surely that is a most splendid thing indeed. And yet... Oh look, it looks exactly like the mansion. After we finish our walk around Paris, welcoming me in my exhaustion is a large mansion that I very much recognize. Saint Germain once led me to a different mansion in the past, but this is a very similar experience. Unsurprisingly, it seems that Saint Germain has his mansions constructed the same in order to maintain a degree of order. What a lovely thing to be able to relive the sense that I'm back in London. But something this similar goes far beyond convenience and ends up somewhere in the realm of the eerie. In any case, we'll gather information with this mansion as our base of operations. And so they don't have to draw out new backgrounds, but it is kind of weird, because you're like, yeah, it's like we're home, but we're not. And that's bizarre. And then the other one, you're like, oh, but also I have to think about the Stabby mansion. Mansion McStabby. A few days later, Saint Germain and I were living just how we pleased. Sometimes going around to various places of Paris together to gather information. At other times, acting as a tag coach for the children while Saint Germain and I went about our days separately. A handful of those days passed. See you, Miss Coach! See you too. Next time I'll teach you all about setting traps. Around the time when the setting sun and the stretching shadows inform us of the end of daytime. In In the midst of hurrying back home to the mansion, I hear a warmly familiar voice. Oh? A warmly familiar voice. So it's definitely not Saint Germain. But I mean, I figure Lupin would be the one in Paris. I don't know. We'll just read it normal to me now. I spy with my little eye. You wouldn't happen to be Spacey? Huh? It was Lupin. Yes! I was so right, but I should have read it in his voice. I spy with my little eye. You wouldn't happen to be Spacey? Well, I'll be. You came to France. Lupin! I can't help but break into a smile as I see the face of someone who I hadn't seen for a year. It's none other than a friend whom I shared countless adventures with. I'm shocked. Lupin, why are you in France? Well there, why is water wet? It's hardly unusual for me to return to my hometown. But wait, what of Saint Germain? Is he not with you? He's like, is he out of the picture? Because I'm just saying I'm available. Lupin, always the backup. He is. We were going about our tasks, and he's probably already back at the mansion. I just finished playing with the children and decided to head back. I wonder if Lupin will laugh at me if I tell him what I was teaching the kids with his very own tag techniques. Watching me as I giggle, Lupin tilts his head to the side. Really? Color me surprised. I'd pegged you two as inseparable. There are times when it's more efficient to split up. I laugh as Lupin snorts in response. I was just returning to the mansion now. Why don't you come by if you'd like? I'm sure Saint Germain would be happy too. If you're offering, the least I can do is say hello to Saint Germain. I lead the way as we reminisce. Lupin. It's been a while, Saint Germain. He's like, fuck. Competition. Saint Germain's expression immediately changes to one of surprise when he sees Lupin's face. After guiding Lupin to the mansion, we enjoy tea, relaxing together as we rejoice our chance reunion. Lupin's like, so help me God, if you try to kill her again, I will fucking kill you. I will kill you. I'll kill you. If you ever hurt her, I'll kill you. I will never get over Lupin saying that. Just never. Never forget. How surprising. I hardly expected you to be in France as well. Are you perchance living a life on the run, being chased this world over by a famous detective? As if. I simply came to a lull in my search and decided to return to Paris for the time being. But this really is the exact same structure as the mansion in London. I can certainly understand Lupin's reaction as he looks around in wonder. It's hardly a shock for me, having experienced a duplicate mansion before, but Lupin must be quite surprised. In any case, Lupin, I'm glad to see that you're the same as always. Changing me would be no trivial matter. You know, if you were going to France, it would have been nice if you'd given a heads up. The others are wanting to see you. Understood. Our original plan was to visit London to greet you all after Paris. Are the others well? Indeed. I only recently left London last month, but everyone was quite fine. And as much as I'd love to tell you all the juicy details, he glances at the clock and makes a wry laugh. It's late before we even know it. This thief shall not steal away any more of the two lovers' time together. Now that he mentions it, it is rather late. The gentleman thief stands with a grin and makes an elegant bow. Well, I'm planning to stay in France for a while myself. Next time you see me will be a brighter time of the day. I'll bear many souvenirs in the form of stories. After Lupin left the mansion with his goodbyes, Saint Germain and I exchange words as I tidy up the empty teacups. But wow, what a coincidence! To meet Lupin in a foreign country far away from London. He was like, yeah. Can you truly call it a coincidence? What? My tidying hands stop and I raise my head at his rather stiff voice. But Saint Germain only narrows his eyes as he smiles gently. Perhaps he was worried about you and came all the way here to see you. Lupin, everyone loves you after all. Oh, don't say such bizarre things. I laugh wryly and make to continue cleaning again when Saint Germain shakes his head and makes a small smile. It's already quite late. I'll take care of the rest. Why don't you go get some rest? What? But leave it to me. Very well. The gentle yet unyielding voice leaves me no other choice, so I concede and let it go. Good night, then, Saint Germain. Yes, good night, Miss Spacey. He looks so sad. Why does he look so sad? He's like, they're following you because they don't trust me. Oh, poor Saint Germain. I mean, he did try to stab us, so I can't really blame him. But the following day, there was a rather odd atmosphere from morning on. After exchanging our morning greetings, Saint Germain headed off somewhere, saying he had business to attend to. Meanwhile, having no business to attend to, I decided to clean the mansion. However, I wonder if something happened to Saint Germain. To leave without telling me where he's going. Setting aside the time when we first met, he's tossed that habit aside in recent times. A tinge of anxiety nagging at me, I wipe the windows with a dry cloth. I can't help but think back again. It feels like Saint Germain had been acting odd since a good while back. At a glance, he looks like his usual self, but there's an uncanny feeling that something is a bit off. This involves someone who is the most dear to me. Being unable to determine the source of my discomfort is vexing to say the least. I let out a breath after finishing with the windows and take a look around me. From the paintings that adorn the walls and the colors of to the colors of the wavering curtains, this mansion is an exact replica of the one in London I knew so well. The paintings are exact. That's the weirdest part. Dude, get different paintings. I mean, he's got paintings of his mansion in the mansion. It's weird. Except for our friends who are conspicuously absent. Victor, who always offered counsel. Impey, who always livened up the mood. Van Helsing, who always lent a helping hand without a word. Even Spacey, who would worry about me and cheer me up with his playing. Feeling a tinge of loneliness from that fact, I slowly return to my cleaning when I hear a knock. Oh, thank God! Top of the morning. Pardon me barging in. Ah, Lupin! Why the surprised face? Didn't I say I'd come by again with a bag full of stories? Right, I just wasn't expecting that to be on a morning like this. It only goes to show how eagerly this gentleman thief has been anticipating reuniting with his charming princess. Saint Germain's gonna get so jealous. Lupin smiles and looks around with curiosity. Say, what of Saint Germain? Might he still be asleep? Saint Germain has been out since early this morning. He was in a hurry and said he'd be late. That's right. It might be the perfect opportunity if Lupin is here. I make up my mind to decide to spill the discomfort that welled up within my chest. Lupin, you see, Saint, Ger- Saint Germain has been acting odd, has he? He has. I can't articulate how or why, but I can't shake that feeling. He hears me out, crossing his arms and falling into contemplation. Sorry to be so vague. Maybe it's just my imagination. No, not necessarily. You've been right at his side this entire time, so it stands to reason that there must be something. Lupin smiles gently and lightly caresses my head. All right, you can count on me. Allow me to look into this matter. I continue my cleaning efforts after Lupin departs, but Saint Germain didn't return that day. Carrying a hazy feeling, I decide that there's little else I can do than sleep. Midnight. I can't sleep. Try as I might, I can't sleep, so I head into the hallway for a change of scenery. I suppose it's technically the next day at this point. The moonlight pouring in through the window casts faint paintings along the hallway walls. All that disturbs the silence are my footsteps. It's eerie in this mansion all by my lonesome. Saint Germain, what could have happened today? I thought I'd take a walk to calm myself, but all I can think of is Saint Germain, and the prospect of sleep slips yet further from my grasp. Maybe I'm just overthinking things and there's no need to worry so much. But what if something happened and I just didn't realize it? Then, as if in response to my doubts, blending with my footsteps, a faint sound tickles my ear. What is that? The source of the sound is outside. Lured by the steady sound, I head towards the courtyard. And there, In the night's garden, illuminated by the light of the moon, Saint Germain stands alone. Perhaps he's tending to the flowers? I can hear the rhythmic snipping sound of shears, not unlike that of a second hand that marks the passing of time. I stare blankly at Saint Germain, who stands amidst the flowers. A moonlight stroll. You're up quite late for a young lady of your age. Presumably already sensing my presence, he raises his head and stares at me. Saint Germain, you're back? Just so, though it hasn't been long. And I'm surprised to see you awake at such an hour. It's difficult to sleep with a different pillow. Is it difficult to sleep with a different pillow under your head? No, not really. The pillow and bed aren't poison resistant, but I can sleep just fine. You'd think they would have packed like the poison resistant pillowcase. You know what I mean? For her. But today, I feel rather restless. I see. Then we are one and the same in that regard. To slumber through a night graced by such a beautiful moon seems a tragic waste. The snipping stops, and he turns towards me. He looks beautiful under the moonlight as he carries the cut flowers, like an otherworldly entity. Perhaps owning to the first time I saw him, I almost feel like we're back in time at the moment of our first meeting. Yeah, right? That was your like, oh, he's beautiful. You've been acting strangely. Would it be all right for me to say such a thing directly? Overwhelmed by the atmosphere of this moonlit night, I'm unable to voice the words that eat away at me. In the end, what comes out of my mouth is hardly more than small talk. Were you tending to the garden? Just so. It had been quite some time, after all. For quite some time, though, I'd say it looks very nice. So many flowers are in bloom. It's so beautiful. If that is, then all of my effort was well worthwhile. He smiles, holding the flowers that he cut and arranged. Beauty soothes the soul. In my immortality, I had pursued a beauty that would endure the erosion of time, such as that of a fine work of art. But the ephemeral beauty that flowers bear is endearing all the same. As if lured by the flowers, I stand beside Saint Germain. All I can do is gaze silently at him as he caresses the petals of the flower bed. They're so beautiful, so gentle and graceful, and temporary, I suppose. The lovely flowers waver in the soft night's breeze. For now, I can only take in their intoxicating fragrance. But I'd like to touch them one day. And not just flowers. I'm not sure which is faster, my words or his reaction. Aww. He's not wearing his top hat. Saint Germain? The scent of the bouquet he holds gently tickles my nose. I can feel his warmth, even his pulse, as he embraces me from behind. But his sigh that caresses my ear isn't one of sweet passion, but more resembles one of suffering and anguish. Rather than embarrassment, I let out a voice of bewilderment. What's wrong so suddenly? The toxin. Huh? What would you do in the event that the toxin couldn't be neutralized? They're words that sound entirely uncharacteristic coming from him, who'd always smile and tell me it's all right. In response to his sudden question, I let out another voice tinged with confusion. You ask what I do, but the whole purpose of us traveling like this is to prevent that very scenario, is it not? That is correct. Just so you were absolutely right. Omnibus's condition was the nullification of the horologium. Naturally, if we cannot neutralize the toxin, it will all have been for naught. Even though I know it's a meaningless presumption, I cannot help but ask. His arms that hold me tightly clearly communicate as much. So I gave his question serious consideration and replied, if we can't get rid of the poison, that's something so frightful I'd rather not even think about it. But if that were to happen, would I go back to the way I was? Devoid of human contact, unable to touch anyone, like my days back in Wales? As an icy chill runs through me, Saint Germain puts more force into arms as if to contain my trembling. Into his arms, I'm assuming. Worry not, even if we're unable to rid your toxin. I alone will remain at your side. Even if you become a maiden of deadly poison who withers flowers and ends the lives of those whose hearts yet beat, even if your kiss is the sweet kiss of death, I alone will accept this fate. I alone will be with you. Oh, so beautiful. Would that much not suffice? Would I alone not be enough to grant you comfort? Oh, is he seriously? Because, like, we miss all of our friends and everything, and he's like, am I not good enough for you? And it's like, dude, though, I mean, why does he say such things? As his voice trembles, I can only wonder what he fears. A pain like the bite of a rose's thorn prickles my chest. Saint Germain's voice wavers in anxiety, giving the illusion that it was left behind in an unknown time and place. Whether or not it's the truth or a lie, should I not? Even if the toxin were to remain, I'm fine as long as you're here. But just as I'm about to nod, the flowers are shaken by the wind and touch my cheek. From the spot that touched my cheek, the flowers he holds begin to rot. It's like my own body is warning me of my thoughts. No, Saint Germain, even if those are lies or presumptions, I don't want to think about what would happen if my poison doesn't go away. I want to get rid of my poison. I want to touch flowers, to touch you, to live my life as a human being, just like how you wish to live with me by casting away your immortality. You are right. After slowly easing his embrace from me, he shakes his head slightly. When I turn, I'm met with his smile like that of when we had met for the first time. My deepest apologies for bringing up such a strange subject. It is quite late. Please go ahead and return to bed. Allow me to clean up. But my apologies. For the moment, I would like some time alone. He faces his back to me and begins to walk back to the flowers that bloom fully. What is worrying you? What's causing you to suffer so? He continued to tend to the flowers, my words never reaching him. Even after Spacey leaves, I feel like I'm fixed to that spot. I can only stand there as I gaze up at the moon that shines dimly beyond the clouds. I can only assume that something is not right with me. To say that I alone will remain by her side if the toxin remains, it almost sounded like I had given up on ridding her of her poison. Why would I say such a thing to her? It's all right, Miss Spacey. You don't have to be afraid of touching me. I alone can accept your touch. That day, since the day when I accepted the feeling of her smooth, warm skin, I probably harbored a twisted joy somewhere in the corner of my mind. I alone am the only one in the entire world who can touch her. I can remain the one and only constant in her life. So even as I suppressed the horologium and desired a way to rid her of the toxin, there was always a slight hesitation in my heart. Putting off investigating Triscuit's research lab until a later time is proof enough. Early on, I had realized that there may be documents there that could serve as a solution. How astonishing it is that I would become so unsightly. So he's avoiding it because if he cures her, then he's like right now he's the only person she can touch. So it's something special and she can't leave. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but he's got that doubt that like if we cure you, you can just go run off with anybody then and there's nothing holding you to me. And oh god, they're also insecure. It's adorable kind of. Pray worry not. No matter. There must be a way. She had her eyes set on a future in which she could believe in me, live with me. Were you so selfish that you had to go so far as betraying her emotions, Saint Germain? Truly I am. So I don't know who's saying, well, well. I want to feel like it's Lupin just showing up, but I can't say that's a look I'd normally expect from you. Echoing through the silent night is a voice that I recognize. Or Guinevere. Jumping with a startle, I raise my head. Atop the fence that's painted in the moonlight, emerging from there is the one man whom I wanted to see the least in this moment. Oh, it is Lupin. Oh! So Lupin's like, Just jumping the fence. And he's like, the person I wanted to see the least, Lupin. I love that. So, okay, hold on. We'll go back and read that. Well, well, I can't say that's a look I'd normally expect from you. I was guessing Lupin, but then I was like, well, maybe it's not, because why would Lupin be like fucking stalking us in the middle of the night? But it's Lupin. Lupin. Gentleman thief Arsène Lupin. Tonight I've come to appear before the vagabond lovers, or something to that extent. You startled me. For how long have you been there? Oh, just a moment ago. But for you, with your sharp intuition, to not sense me speaks volumes about your present state of mind. As I expected, he was listening in on me. Lupin makes a wry laugh and speaks with a quiet voice. Now that I think about it, I haven't really asked. What happened with the horologium? Was there any real progress? A so-so amount, I would say. At present, we are searching for research materials once belonging to an old acquaintance of mine. I see. And if you could, you'd be able to control her poison. Just so. If we find it, she'll be able to live her life as an ordinary girl. Able to touch what she desires, do what she desires on her own. It would be most delightful. So you say, but you don't seem particularly ecstatic. He is truly a thorn in my side. Seldom have I met those of equal perception and intellect. Keeping up my facade is surely an act of futility. Along with a sigh of resignation, I spill what was eating away at me. Yes, that is precisely the case. My feelings of joy towards her change are sincere. To me, however, that is also rather worrisome. Though a lifespan was decided upon, I am but still a mortal, the sole existence who can accept her poison-enshrouded body. What if, however, the poison became no more? If I were no longer that sole existence? I cannot... One more word and I'll slug you. I love that. If you talk any more like that, I'll kill you. I'll punch you. It's an awfully cold voice. Eyes narrowed and seeped with hostility, Lupin slowly comes closer. I love this. Say, Count Saint-Germain, do you understand my emotions right now? Your emotions? Yes, that's right. I entrusted her, the girl whom I'd vowed to make happy, to someone who made me believe that he could... These are the emotions of a miserable man who just listened to the whimpers of a man whom he trusted. Oh! Lupin! But look at Saint Germain's pretty face. I've never seen Saint Germain he's like, oh, what the fuck? Oh, I love it. Oh, guys. Oh. That's almost... I still want a Lupin Van Helsing bro hug. But Lupin threatening someone else is kind of like, whoa, Lupin, wow. Listen well, Saint Germain. He grabs me by the collar and my airways begin to tighten. Lupin's eyes burn with anger. Or perhaps with sadness or pity. I can hardly tell in my present state. The first time I met her, Spacey, I made a single oath that no matter what, I would rid her of her poison on my honor as a gentleman thief. If you're capable of little more than spinning excuses at this point, then that leaves me no choice. A casting change, then. I will rid her of her poison so that she may live a life as a normal girl. His words feel like a bludgeon to my head, causing me to recoil. What? He pushes me back violently, staring me down with a cold glare. In my wavering vision, Lupin was beginning his walk toward the mansion. Wait! It's all fading away. With unreliable steps, I chase his back that draws further and further away. Pray, wait! You lack the confidence, do you not? That once her poison is gone, there'll be nothing to stop her from leaving you. So stand aside. It's all fading away. The future that I wished for. The future that I was supposed to walk alongside Spacey. No. My trembling throat forces out the words on its own. No! What emerged is entirely unbefitting of a man who has lived for thousands of years. A yell like that of a young child. It matters not whether the poison remains. It matters not who else exists in her life. I won't give her to you or anyone else. Because I love Miss Spacey more than anyone else in the entire world. My desperate cry tears through the night's quiet. In the silence torn asunder, only my ragged breathing remains. In the midst of it, without so much as turning to me, Lupin mutters, "Is that the case, Spacey?" Huh? Saint Germain. And there, standing beneath the tree with a troubled expression on her face, is the dearest person to me of all. The one I love, whose name I had just cried out. Allow me to meddle about one more matter for you, Saint Germain. You seem to bear a great deal of worry and anxiety and whatnot, but have you discussed it with her even once? Ha! That's the problem with you overly intellectual sorts, never considering anything beyond your own heads. If you're anxious about her feelings, then why not ask her face to face? His back is still turned, but I can sense what sort of expression he's making. As if smiling from his back, Lupin lightly waves his hand. Without further ado, I won't meddle any further. I shall take my leave. I like how he got all threatened with Saint Germain. That's really fucking cute. Like, I'm gonna fucking take her. I will take her away from you because you are clearly not man enough to get rid of her poison. How dare you? Once Lupin is gone, the curtain of silence falls on the garden once more. Only Saint Germain and I remain. I'm the one who breaks the awkward silence. Saint Germain, you have witnessed a man at his lowest. I am. No, I've heard more than enough, so allow me to speak next. I'm sorry for not noticing sooner that you were troubled. Not at all. I'm to blame for not having told you. Forestalling Saint Germain. Add an extra E there. Mid apology, I take one step closer to him. I feel him jolt slightly. First, I want to say one thing clearly. For you to accept my poison kiss, that makes me so happy. I touch my own lips gently with my fingertips. I trace around them as if to study the shape and shake my head. But it's not because I can touch you that I admire you. I think about wanting to touch you because I admire you. It's the other way around, I tell him. His eyes go wide as if he's in shock. It's just like you said. Regardless of the poison, I love you. So pray wait. If I allow you to say any more, I shall truly be a wretched man. No, I have already reached the depths of my wretchedness. With a bitter laugh, Saint Germain continues. Pray wait just a little longer, Miss Spacey. When next I confess my love to you, we will have found a way to contain your horologium. Can we find a way, though? We shall find a way. Oh, he's so close! With a wide smile, Saint Germain gently pulls me in closer. The researched materials of Trisket, I will locate them, no matter the cost. Someday, amidst the shining light blessed by all, we shall exchange a true kiss with nothing to separate us. Oh, the end. That would suck. When Saint Germain's path is only an hour and a half. Bloody hell, those two are a handful. Atop a faraway tree, Lupin gazes at the garden scenery. He makes a bitter laugh as he watches the two nestle closer together from the corner of his eye. Damn it. You'd have been better off as more of a jerk. Lupin's a little jealous. Oh, that's cute, though. He's like, she chose you. The next morning, with the singing of the birds as our background, the three of us are gathered in the mansion living room. What I really actually like is that all of them technically are in love with her in every path, but like nobody tries to steal anyone away. Like, you know, Impei's always Impei and like, oh, you stole my princess away, but I'm so happy for you guys. But like, he's the only one that really voices it. And this is the first time you actually get Lupin really being like, damn it. Like, disappointed that Saint Germain has her, but still happy. But there's still a little bit of jealousy deep down, and he's like, shit. So I kind of just love that in like all the paths. It's not like they're all like when Victor wins her over, they're not like, I go Victor, cool, that's awesome for you guys, because I wasn't. They're all like, yeah, awesome Victor, damn. But they're all still like, nobody's a jerk, nobody's a dick, nobody tries to steal her away. But you know, there's like that little hinting, that little bit that you know that they're all in love with her. And I kind of just like that, you know what I mean? That I don't know. So, like, you know, when your boyfriend's a dick, you can just run on. You've got 4 other choices. With the singing of the birds as our back. Okay, yeah, blah, blah, living room. We're discussing what we should do in order to fulfill the contract with Omnibus. Discussing our plans from here on. The Emerald Tablet. Yes, the lost treasure containing the fruits of the Philosopher's Stone, researched by the alchemist Triscuits. It might contain a clue how to control the horologium. We had paid a visit to the research lab that had originally enshrined the tablet. However, it seems the grave robbers have looted most everything of value. I see. Well, what kind of priceless artifact might it be? It's just as its name implies, a slate constructed of emerald. Go on. Surely the grave robber traded off the goods he looted, so we would like your help in the matter. Certainly, the gentleman thief is well informed of the trade routes of stolen goods. Certainly. Of course, you can count on me. Paris is a home to me after all. Thank you. It's a big help to us. Without you, we wouldn't be able to trace their steps. As I smile at him, but he looks away for some reason or another. Yeah, because he's like, ugh. Because I think he was kind of liking that Saint Germain was going to be a coward so he could take her away and fix it. And then Saint Germain's like, how dare you? I love her. We're like, oh, Saint Germain, you love us. Lupin's like, damn it. I really wanted to choke the life out of you. That's actually kind of cute. There's no reason to thank me, you know. Lupin, it's nothing. At any rate, where might this research lab be? On the outskirts of Paris, half a day's travel to the northwest from here, at the wasteland off the riverbanks of the Seine. That wouldn't happen to be, an underground research lab with an entrance of a rather large boulder, would it? Do you know something about it? Lupin's like, ah! Oops. Lupin! I'm so sorry! He burst into an apology after a series of comical expressions. Saint Germain and I can only exchange looks. Saint Germain is like, the fuck? Like, what do you mean? Meaning, you know, that, the one who stole it was probably me. Fucking Lupin. I love him. 5 minutes later. So, summarizing what Lupin told us through his cold sweat, the one who looted the research lab was you, many years ago. Absolutely not. I was an apprentice at the time and hadn't the slightest sense of aesthetics. Lupin desperately makes excuses, claiming that he no longer steals meaninglessly. Saint Germain mutters in deep thought. An unexpected turn of events. But in another sense, we could say that we are in luck. Lupin, what did you do with the emerald tablet after you obtained it? He's like, oh, I use it as a cocktail tray, of course. I mean, it's beautiful. Right. It should definitely be back at my hideout. The items I stole from the villains are promptly exchanged for money and scattered here and there, but not knowing who this belonged to, I felt guilty about selling it off, so it should be stored securely. Then, precisely. Just wait right here. I'll bring it over immediately. It should be at my hideout. I just randomly keep random shit. I'm like a pack rat. You go into his house and you're like, oh my god, you're a hoarder. Oh, Lupin is totally my guy because I feel like a hoarder too. Then, about an hour later, sorry for the wait. Might this be it? As soon as he uncovered the wrappings, a brilliant green... Brilliance... A bright green brilliance. A bright green brilliance draws us in. Whoa, that is some pretty fucking shit. That is pretty, but also, holy fucking shit, that's a big ass piece of armor. That is man, that's a big rock. Oh my god, Saint Germain, it's the biggest rock you've ever given me. The jeweled tablet is engraved with dazzling print that sparkles as it catches the sunlight. That's gonna be hard as fuck to read. Is this the emerald tablet? Saint Germain stretched his hands out that tremble slightly and takes the tablet into his hands. He may well be staring into a past when he lived together with the owner of this tablet. I once thought to try deciphering it, but this seems to be ancient language and I can't read a word of it. In verity, without prevarication, 'tis the absolute, 'tis the most pure. You can read it, Saint Germain? How could I possibly not, if it was written by him? He nods towards the two of us as we look on with surprise and directs his gaze to the tablet once more. I mean, he can probably read fucking everything. It's like he's staring into a distant past. I just love Lupin. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. I fucking stole it. I did it. It was me. Look! Cute! It looks nice when it's all done, but he, like, looted and destroyed the place? Like, what a dick. Triscuits. Ah, rare guest. It's been nearly 5 decades since I last saw you. Well, don't just stand at the entrance. Come in, Saint Germain. How long ago must that have been? Triscuit's research lab on the outskirts of Paris, France. I visited him on that day for the first time in a very long while. I would not have, given the choice, also bearing the notice of an ill omen. A bottle of wine to celebrate our reunion seems a fitting gesture, but... seems you are not in a celebratory mood. Do you bring bad news? A man as brilliant as yourself should have already speculated as much. The leader of Idea, Omnibus, has given me an order. For setting foot into the taboo realm, I'm to eliminate Hermie Triscuits, who is marked as a calamity to the world. I see. I knew that this day would come in time, but I suppose it's finally here. Pray, run away. Idea's eyes see every corner of the world. 'Tis not an opponent I can very well run from. Say that I did manage to run away. The next to be dispatched would be Guinevere or someone of equal caliber. Being seen to my deathbed by a beauty would be a fine fate, but if I'm to die, I would choose the hand of a close friend. You would consider me a friend, even at this last moment. I am the one who has come to kill you. Of course. The fact that you have come to kill me and the fact that you are my friend are not mutually exclusive. You are a foolish man, truly. Pray, tell me first, Triscuits. I'm sorry, I can't. I'm trying to read it seriously, but every time I say Triscuits, it's just funny. Why have you continued your research of the Philosopher's Stone, though you knew this day would come? I have but 2 reasons. One is very simple. I've grown tired of living. It's true that we apostles bear immortal bodies, but ultimately our hearts remain human and fragile. These tens of thousands of years were far too long for one human heart. I've tried many times to end my own life, but one grows weary of inflicting death upon oneself. So you researched the unspeakable taboo that is the Philosopher's Stone? For Omnibus to purge you, to undo her spell of immortality, the one way for an apostle to die. Indeed, even if I were not purged, 'twould be fine if my Philosopher's Stone reached completion. For a stone that brings immortality can surely bring the opposite as well. And your second reason? I've already told you before, for the promise I made with a certain someone. With a light laugh, he stared at me in a fixed manner. His attitude seemed to allude to something instilling my heart with anxiety. I'm not as certain as Omnibus, but I too have mastered the art of divination. I too am fond of making predictions. That's why I know. My research will come to an end here. Someday, somewhere, however, it will prove useful to someone's happiness. Is it like, did he know it will prove useful to, like, fucking Saint Germain's happiness? And he's like, you're like a son to me, Saint Germain, and I know you're going to kill me someday over this, and it's cool because someday you'll be happy and you'll be able to understand what I'm talking about. Oh my god, that's like so beautiful and so sad. And Saint Germain's like, fuck. Like, of course he's not going to get it. And Triscuits is over here like, dude, I get it. I'm fucking the master. Remember that well, Saint Germain. Yes, because it's Saint Germain's happiness. Oh my god, that's so beautiful. Saint Germain, what's written on the tablet? Generally, it contains his research results. Hermie Triscuits, Idea's apostle. An Idea apostle and the man who led Saint Germain to Idea. Though an apostle, he was purged for his continued research of the calamitous Philosopher's Stone. Although, at the very end, is a rather unnecessary line. Oh my god, he really did. It really is. He knew his divination came that it was going to be the key to Saint Germain's happiness, and I bet that's what his wish is. If I might truly be granted my first and final wish. Along with my blood exhalations, I grabbed the hand that fate reached out to me. That someday I wish to know an ordinary happiness. Oh, Triscuits, man. Oh my God, it hurts so much. It's so beautiful, it hurts. Like, Triscuits came and saved Saint Germain and made him an apostle, and they were like friends, and he loved him, and he's like, you're kind of like my son, and I do this, and he's like, and doing his divination, and he was just like, I'm going to continue doing this because I'm so bored of living because I've been alive for like tens of thousands of years and this is just fucking ridiculous. And you know what? This will lead to your happiness someday, and that's what you wanted, so I'm making your wish come true, dude. Bro. Ah! Oh, it's like a dad making a son's... Oh my God, it's just so fucking cute. Oh my God, he loved Saint Germain so much. Oh. And he willingly died, and Saint Germain killed him and was like, dude, I don't understand why I kept doing this shit. Like, whatever, that's just weird. And now he's like, oh, the feels. Shit, the feels. I need a minute. Oh my God, okay. Wow, I can't. I can't even explain the feels. Oh, I think I'm having a heart attack. I can't. The feels. The feels is so much stronger with this than it's gonna be when she gets rid of her poison and then they like kiss and get married and shit. Like, that's the feels. But this is the feels. The all caps feels. Whoo! I can't. Oh God, the pain in my chest is real, man. God, oh my God. You once wished to me that you could know an ordinary happiness. I once answered to you that your wish has been duly heard. Now that you've become a member of Idea, it would be difficult to wish for that happiness. But at the ends of a very long road, I pray that your wish will surely be granted. Your friend, Hermie Triscuits. It just ruins it when I say the name wrong, but I can't. I will borrow the fruits of your research. My friend, Hermie Triscuits. Oh, look, he looks so sad. Look, his face is like... White steam covers entire city. The entire city. Jesus, Tim! Tim's the terrible typist. Now he's forgetting words. An ensemble of metal and machine plays by the turning of gears. The world-renowned city of steam. My father is the architect. The steel city of London. We're back! The London we'd been away from for about a year welcomes us with its unchanging liveliness. A city that never changes. Right? It feels like I've returned to my hometown. My true hometown may be Wales, but this city in which I met Saint Germain and the others feels far more familiar to me. Squinting with nostalgia, a scene that I recognize spreads out to me bit by bit. The stretch I went around in an automobile while chatting with Impey. A rather shady store in a back alley that I visited with Van Helsing. The large plaza where I came to walk Spacey deli alongside me on a sunny day. Time permitting, I'd love to walk around and see the sights until the sun sets. But I can be immersed in nostalgia some other time. Saint Germain, what about Victor's reply? Ah, yes, it has arrived duly. The date and time is also designated, so if he's early, he may have already arrived at the mansion. We should hurry then. It wouldn't do to keep Victor waiting. Because we're probably like, hey, so we have this, can you do this? And Victor's going to fix us. Yay! Victor is just our hero in all of them. Like, Lupin may have saved us, but Victor cures our poison. Saint Germain stops us from getting stabbed by Idea, and Impey. Van Helsing didn't shoot us himself. I mean, you know. Feeling the weight of the jewel slab in the backpack, I head toward the destination in familiar steps. From the fine construction of the gate, even down to the cut of the shrubbery, everything is just how I remembered it. The mansion that I haven't seen in some time was preserved so beautifully I can hardly believe we were gone. According to Lupin, even during your absence, we're still using the mansion as our base of operations, unless we take turns keeping the place as tidy as it can be. Or so he said. In any case, at Saint Germain's mansion, it's been a while since we handed the Emerald Tablet off to Victor, who had been waiting along with Spacey. Victor! Starting with my conclusion, If what's written on the tablet is true, it should be possible to completely neutralize your poison. Victor, having finished analyzing the tablet, looks at us with a big smile. Is that certain? Yes, absolutely. The one who put this research together was a true genius. The man who etched his name in the history of alchemy, Hermie Triscuits. Never did I think the day would come when I'd be able to gaze upon his research material like this. Triscuits must have been amazing. Amazing doesn't even begin to describe him. He's legendary. Wait for it. Dairy. I'd give anything for his autograph. He'd have shrugged his shoulders if you told him that in person. It's not every day that we get to see Victor this worked up. So, for those of us illiterate in ancient language, what was written on that priceless artifact? What's written here is about the Philosopher's Stone, the fruits of his research and observations. Tracing the tablet with his finger, Victor wears a serious, sorrowful look as he continues. Though it was never made public, a few hundred years from then, Triscuits succeeded in refining Zicterium. The same Zicterium you've spoken of before. Oh my God, who let Tim do this? Yes, that's right. The material that's said to be the precursor to the Philosopher's Stone. The Zicterium would undergo alteration, becoming the Horologium, ultimately sublimating into the Philosopher's Stone. According to the inscription, Triscuits had nearly researched a point where he possessed a completed Horologium. To think that this occurred so long ago, that such unthinkable genius actually existed. Well, time was, after all, something he had in great abundance. Nodding to Saint Germain, Victor explained the contents of the inscription. Both Zicterium and the Horologium are material with an abnormally high toxicity. An apostle such as myself, I'm not an apostle though, would be fine, but its concentration is such that it can instantly dissolve one's flesh. I'm not an apostle, I'm a vessel. But, powerful though it is, there's no such toxin in the natural world that can melt anything in its true sense. Triscuits focused on that fact, making various approaches to alter its quality. Heating it, cooling it, oxidizing it, pressuring it, mixing it with various matter and solutions. Then over the course of hundreds of years of experimentation, he discovers a certain material that demonstrates a peculiar reaction with the Horologium. It was a beryl-type jewel of green that was said to possess potent detoxification properties, commonly used as a cure-all. Pardon me for just a moment, if you would, Spacey. Before he even finishes. Without even waiting for my response, Victor pushes the emerald tablet gently against my cheek. A cold sensation particular to ore sends a chill through me, but it doesn't melt. There's no harsh sound of its dissolution. There's not even a rising cloud of steam. I stare dumbstruck at the tablet that glistens like a young leaf. I see. I always did question why he chose an emerald slate over parchment. You see? I'm like, the fuck is with this? To avoid losing it to the toxin, I suppose this would be the best approach. Indeed, and not only does emerald have a resistance to poison, emerald of extremely high purity also seems to possess a property capable of absorbing the Horologium's toxins. Like, for instance, this emerald tablet that holds a purity that normal emerald would not. As if incited by the fast beating of my heart, I look up at Saint Germain's face. Yes, let us give it a try. Hastily taking off my gloves, I reach over to the green slab with trembling hands. Then I try rubbing its surface with my palm. I trace the engraved letters with my fingers. Saint Germain watches me with a smile as I do so. As a matter of fact, I had been continuing my research in regards to your poison as well. But frankly, I had little confidence that I'd really be able to accomplish it on my own. But if I can combine this research with my own, then before long, surely I can completely remove the poison? Not just the poison, I'll be able to alter the properties of the Horologium to a harmless one. Which means... What Idea fears is the tremendous energy within the Horologium and its capability of sublimating into the Philosopher's Stone. The deadly poison generated from your body is one such form of manifesting that energy. And thus, Saint Germain smiles after his supplemental words. What Victor is considering is altering the qualities of the horologium, thereby dramatically decreasing its energy output. He would, of course, leave the minimum amount of energy required to sustain your life energy. As my comprehension catches up, a look of delight spreads across my face. Th- then I. Just so. Omnibus's condition was to find a way for you to continue living without depending on the horologium. We can't go as far as completely removing the horologium itself, but he takes a small breath and puts on his best smile before delivering the words I wanted to hear the most. You no longer have anything to worry about. My joy doesn't manifest in words. I can live a life without jumping at ideas' shadows. I can live a life without fear of harming others with my poison. There can be a day when Saint Germain and I can actually feel one another's skin. It will all become a reality. Right then. We must gather all of our friends and hold a party in celebration of solving this most toilsome puzzle. But isn't everyone scattered across the globe? And that is that. Once everyone hears the great news, they will all come rushing to you. Yes, well said. Leave it to me, the great Lupin. I wonder how Impe and Van Helsing will respond once they hear about this. Excited thoughts race through my head as I exchange words with Lupin, and I notice Saint Germain beckoning Victor over and whispering something. By the way, Victor, I would like to hear a bit more about the specifics of how it absorbs the toxins. About that, I was just about to start my experimentation now. I think it would be best for her to go ahead and start carrying around the Emerald Tablet. Then I have one thing to discuss with you. Here's just me walking around with a giant tablet in my hands. The horologium, the gem of calamity that glistens upon my chest that used to be the reason for Idea targeting me. A matter of days after hearing the wonderful news that we'd be able to control and detoxify it. What you see before you is one of London's most prominent places of worship, St. Paul's Cathedral. It's also a building of priceless historical value, but due to the incident that occurred, entry is forbidden. As you know, this is Waterloo Station. It was once a labyrinthine and inconvenient station where many trains entered. Waterloo Station, a London terminal station where many trains enter. Historically, the station during this era was complex and inconvenient, but in this game, it was. Okay, I can't. I'm so used to Tim the Terrible Typist that I'm starting to mess up things that are right. But in this game, it was streamlined when London was rebuilt. But it was altered during London's reconstruction and has since become more exceptional and convenient. A day in which the sun is yet to rise completely with a sky that feels rather high, leaving a light purple color. Just like the time we first met in early morning sunlight, Saint Germain slowly guides me across London. The city devoid of pedestrians feels like a different place entirely. Even the scenery I'm already well familiar with feels somehow fresh to me now. It's a sight I'm so used to, but even after just 1 year we can see so many changes. Just so, London's development is particularly striking. It used to be a place where there was hardly anything. He squints, perhaps recalling what the city looked like thousands of years ago. I nestle next to him as we slowly tour the city anew. Paris and the other cities are wonderful too, but in the end, London feels like the right place for me. London is a place you can call your second hometown after all. And even more so, it's the city where I met you. We both let out a laugh. Going wherever our legs carry us, going wherever our whims guide us. Eventually, our destination is Tower Bridge. Atop the large bridge that connects the two banks of the River Thames, a cool wind that runs along the water's surface sways us. But what happened to suddenly make you want to go out on a date, Saint Germain? Everything is finally settled after all. I thought I'd return to my initial resolution here and look back at the days I spent with you. The morning sun glistens gently on us, its only recipients. I let out a breath, thinking of the days that had passed and the days to come. It feels so strange. Much occurred here. Indeed. This was the place I went when Saint Germain was engaged in a battle of solitude. The place where Saint Germain settled things with Guinevere. The place where I made an oath to Omnibus. In more ways than one. A place where we faced fate time and time again. Indeed, atop this bridge we declared our sorrow and happiness. There is hardly a better place, then, to discuss a matter of great importance. Oh my God, is he going to propose? Walking a few steps closer, he takes off his hat and makes a reverent bow. With a smile that is almost refreshing, he begins to speak. I shall tell you directly, Miss Spacey, that I am a truly hideous human being. Saint Germain, what are you saying all of a sudden? He gently restrains my question with his gaze. It's as though he wants to be the only speaker in this moment. Because the horologium is beginning to alter, and the poison is beginning to disappear. Thenceforth you shall be able to touch all manner of things. A fresh green leaf, for example, a petal with its flowery fragrance, soft fur, and of course, your first wish, the warmth of another human's skin. Taking my hands over my glove, Saint Germain lets out a deep, heavy sigh. I must admit, in all honesty, that the thought makes me rather anxious. I felt as though I'd lose you along with your poison. I told you as much back then as well, that no matter what, that would never happen. The days I spent with you were what taught me to love people back when I was a doll. So of course the best love I have to offer will always, always be yours. Just so. And that is precisely why I feel the need to apologize for ever doubting your love. Then allow me to vow right here and now that my love for you will carry on forevermore. Oh my God, that's beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna end this part here though, because we're over an hour, and I know this is gonna go on for a little while. You know what? Literally, I'll stop. We'll come back in the next part, and it'll be like 2 more scenes, and we could have done it. But this is a really great thing to end it on. His love for us will carry on forevermore until tomorrow, when we will continue this conversation. But forevermore from now until tomorrow, or literally for me, it's gonna be like 5 minutes. But he loves us, guys. It's beautiful. Anyway. So lament on that for a little while. I will see you guys next time. Remember to give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more.